Clara Bennett weaved through the chaotic streets of Manhattan, her laptop bag bouncing against her hip and her heels clicking sharply on the pavement. The city was alive with the familiar symphony of car horns, chatter, and distant subway rumbles. Every step felt heavier as anxiety gnawed at her. Today was crucial, an interview for a marketing position at a firm she had dreamed of working for since college. She glanced at her watch, panic rising. The train delay had already set her behind schedule, and now she felt the weight of the city pressing in from every direction. As she turned a corner, Clara spotted an elderly man struggling to balance a tall stack of cardboard boxes. The papers threatened to topple onto the pavement, scattering their contents to the wind. Without a second thought, Clara darted forward. "Here, let me help you," she said, gripping the bottom of the boxes. The man looked at her with surprise and gratitude, his frail hands trembling as he adjusted his hold. She could see the exhaustion in his eyes and the strain in his bent back. In that moment, Clara's worries about her interview faded, replaced by a determination to help. They navigated the uneven sidewalk together, stepping carefully around potholes and puddles from the morning drizzle. Clara encouraged him gently, laughing at the clumsy wobble of one particularly overloaded box. She imagined her own father at that age, struggling in similar ways, and her heart tightened. The elderly man's gratitude was palpable, his eyes softening as he said, "Thank you, young lady. Most people just walk by." Clara smiled, feeling warmth spread through her chest. For a brief moment, the busy streets felt quieter, as if time had slowed just for them. By the time they reached the entrance of his small building, Clara realized she had lost precious minutes. "You're going to make me late," she said, half laughing, half panicked. The man shook his head and chuckled. "Don't worry about that. The world needs more people like you." Clara's stomach sank as she glanced at her watch again. She was running far behind schedule. She thanked the man quickly, wished him well, and broke into a run, her mind racing with both guilt and fulfillment. Arriving at the office, Clara dashed through the revolving doors and approached the receptionist, her chest heaving. "Hi, I have an interview scheduled for—" she started. The woman behind the desk shook her head politely. "I'm sorry, Miss Bennett, but the interview ended 15 minutes ago." Clara felt the air rush out of her lungs. Her hands tightened around her bag strap as disappointment washed over her. She had prepared meticulously for this opportunity, yet a simple act of kindness had cost her the chance she had been waiting for months. Standing there, Clara felt the city's indifference press against her. People brushed past her, immersed in their own lives, unaware of the small tragedy she was experiencing. Her shoulders slumped and she closed her eyes for a brief moment, trying to steady her racing thoughts. Then, despite the disappointment, a sense of quiet satisfaction bloomed inside her. She had done something good, truly good, without expecting recognition or reward. And that feeling, oddly, felt heavier and more meaningful than any paycheck or job offer could ever feel. Clara stepped outside into the afternoon sunlight, letting the busy street wash over her. The honking cars and shouting vendors no longer seemed so harsh. She walked slowly, reflecting on the elderly man's smile, the relief on his face, and the simple gratitude he had shown. Maybe she had missed her interview, but she had not failed. In fact, she realized that her choices, however small, had ripple effects. Little did she know, one of those ripples was about to reach her in a way she could never have imagined. Clara sat at the corner table of the cozy cafe, sunlight streaming through the wide windows and casting patterns on the worn wooden floor. The aroma of freshly brewed coffee mingled with the faint scent of pastries. But her mind was elsewhere. She stirred her cappuccino absently, thinking about the interview she had missed, the rejection she had expected, and the uncertainty that now loomed over her career. Her phone buzzed occasionally with messages from friends asking how the big day went, and each Time! A pang of guilt and frustration shot through her chest. She sighed and sipped her coffee, trying to calm the whirlwind of thoughts. The bell above the cafe door jingled, and Clara looked up just as a man in a sharp, tailored suit walked in. He carried himself with effortless confidence, yet there was an unmistakable warmth in his eyes and the way he smiled at the barista. He scanned the room briefly before his gaze settled on her, and he began walking in her direction. Her heart skipped a beat, and she straightened in her seat, curiosity mingling with unease. "Clara Bennett?" he asked, his voice deep but gentle. Clara nodded slowly, unsure if she had imagined this moment. The man pulled out the chair across from her without waiting for an invitation, his expression calm yet commanding. "I hope I'm not intruding," he said lightly. Clara shook her head, words caught in her throat. He smiled, a genuine, disarming smile that seemed to put the entire cafe at ease. "My name is Michael Grant," he began. "I'm the man you helped 3 days ago with the boxes. The elderly gentleman, you know." Clara blinked, her mind racing. Could it be? The man she had helped had not only remembered her, he had tracked her down. Michael continued, leaning slightly forward, the sunlight glinting off his watch. "I wanted to meet the person behind that. Kindness. Most people walk by, lost in their own lives. But you stopped. You didn't hesitate." Clara's chest tightened as she listened, feeling a mix of shock and pride. She had never imagined that such a small gesture could carry this weight. "I missed an interview because of that," she admitted, her voice barely above a whisper, her eyes downcast. Michael shook his head, an amused smile tugging at his lips. "And yet, here you are. Integrity and character matter far more than punctuality in my book." Clara's thoughts spun as he spoke, realizing that everything she had feared, the lost opportunity, the disappointment, the embarrassment, seemed suddenly insignificant. Michael's presence radiated confidence, yet he spoke with a warmth that felt almost personal. He asked her about her career goals, her passions, and what drove her in the field of marketing. Clara spoke openly, her voice gaining strength as she realized she was talking to someone who truly wanted to understand her, not just her resume or credentials. The conversation felt surreal, yet comforting. As the minutes stretched into an hour, Clara and Michael discussed marketing trends, creative strategies, and even shared a few laughs over office mishaps and social media campaigns. Michael listened intently, nodding thoughtfully, occasionally jotting down notes. He seemed genuinely impressed by her insight, her analytical mind, and her ability to stay composed under pressure. Clara could hardly believe that the same person who had initially appeared as a stranger in need of help was now evaluating her potential for the very position she thought she had lost. Finally, Michael leaned back, a serious expression softening his features. "Clara, qualities like yours, compassion, quick thinking, resilience, these can't be taught. They can't be quantified. And yet, they are exactly what this company needs. Punctuality can be improved, character cannot." Clara felt her throat tighten, her hands gripping the coffee cup. She had never expected that a single act of kindness would bring her face to face with an opportunity that could transform her life. Her eyes glistened as she absorbed the gravity of the moment. Michael stood, offering his hand with a confident smile. "I'd like to offer you the chance to interview again, personally, and potentially join our team. You've already shown more than any resume could convey." Clara shook his hand, overwhelmed by emotion. Gratitude, disbelief, and excitement collided within her. The cafe around them seemed to blur, the clinking of cups and murmur of conversations fading into insignificance. She realized that her decision to help someone, without thinking of herself, had changed the trajectory of her life in ways she could never have predicted. As they left the cafe together, Michael guiding her to his car, Clara's mind replayed the moments of that day she had helped him. She understood now that kindness had a power far beyond immediate recognition. Each step she took beside him was a reminder that small actions, motivated purely by goodwill, could ripple outward in ways unimaginable. By the time she reached the vehicle, she felt a renewed sense of purpose, ready to embrace whatever challenges lay ahead, with the certainty that character and compassion had finally met opportunity. The drive back to Michael's office gave Clara time to reflect. Skyscrapers rose majestically around her, each reflecting sunlight like shards of promise. She thought of the missed interview, the frantic rush, the fear of failure, and realized that none of it mattered anymore. She had been chosen, not because of luck or timing, but because of the essence of who she was. Michael spoke occasionally about the company culture, mentorship, programs, and career growth, but Clara's attention was fixed on a single truth: the world had a way of rewarding integrity, and hers had just been noticed. By the time they arrived at the firm, Clara's nervousness returned, but this time it was tempered with confidence. She knew that she was walking into more than a second chance. She was walking into a validation of her values, her ethics, and her approach to life. Michael opened the door, gesturing her inside, and said with a warm smile, "Welcome to where your talent and character truly belong." Clara took a deep breath, her chest swelling with emotion, ready to step into the next chapter of her life, realizing that the ripple effect of kindness could be far greater than any resume, interview, or title. Clara left the cafe with a whirlwind of emotions swirling inside her. The city streets of New York bustled around her, a chaotic symphony of honking cars, rushing pedestrians, and distant construction. Yet for the first time in weeks, she felt an overwhelming sense of calm and purpose. Each step toward the towering glass office building where Michael worked was a reminder that her life was about to change forever. She had gone from a missed interview and a day filled with self-doubt to standing on the brink of an opportunity she had only dreamed of. Her heart raced, a mixture of excitement and nervous anticipation. Entering this sleek modern office, Clara felt a wave of awe. The lobby shimmered with polished marble floors and floor-to-ceiling windows that reflected the sunlight, casting intricate patterns on the walls. Receptionists greeted her politely, unaware of the story behind the young woman. Walking through the doors, Michael led her through the corridors, explaining the company's new outreach program, a division focused on community engagement, mentorship, and identifying emerging talent. As they walked, Clara listened intently, absorbing every detail, marveling at how much faith a single act of kindness had inspired in someone so influential. Michael stopped at a spacious office with an enormous window overlooking the city skyline. "This will be your workspace," he said warmly. Clara's eyes widened as she took in the surroundings. A neatly organized desk, ergonomic chairs, shelves lined with books on leadership and management, and a small corner adorned with plants and personal touches. She realized this wasn't just a job. It was an environment designed to nurture creativity. Michael smiled, reading her thoughts. "We believe that the right environment fosters the right mindset," he said. Clara nodded, understanding that the company valued more than just skill, it valued heart. As weeks turned into months, Clara thrived in her new role. She met with community leaders, organized outreach programs, and mentored younger employees. Each day, she was reminded of the lesson she had learned that pivotal morning, the power of selflessness. Her colleagues, many of whom were accomplished in their own right, admired her for her authenticity and insight. While others focused solely on metrics and performance, Clara emphasized empathy and genuine connection. Under her leadership, the program flourished, building bridges between the company and local communities in ways that exceeded expectations. Meanwhile, Michael continued to guide her, offering mentorship and encouragement. They spent long afternoons discussing strategies, corporate responsibility, and personal growth. Clara was struck by his humility despite immense success. He never flaunted his wealth. Instead, he focused on recognizing talent, fostering potential, and making a tangible impact. Through these conversations, Clara's confidence grew. She realized that the qualities he admired in her kindness, patience, and integrity were just as crucial to leadership as intelligence or technical skill. Her belief in herself solidified, and she began to take bold initiatives that earned widespread recognition. One afternoon, Clara received an email that would forever mark her story, a request for her to speak at a nationwide conference on leadership and empathy in the corporate world. She accepted eagerly, nervous yet excited. When she took the stage, she shared her journey from the chaotic streets of New York, helping an elderly stranger, to meeting the CEO who recognized her character, to the opportunity that transformed her career. Her story resonated deeply with the audience. People applauded not only her achievements, but also the idea that integrity and compassion could be just as powerful as talent and ambition. Back in the office, Michael congratulated her on the presentation's success. "You see," he said, "sometimes the smallest gestures create the biggest ripples. People notice even if it doesn't seem immediate." Clara smiled, thinking back to that morning when she had helped the elderly man. At the time, it had seemed like a minor act, nothing more than a momentary choice. Yet that single decision had unlocked doors, opportunities, and connections that no one could have predicted. She understood now that life often rewards character in ways that surpass logic and expectation. Clara's life outside work also flourished. She reconnected with friends and family, sharing her experiences and newfound perspective. She learned to balance ambition with compassion, recognizing that professional success could coexist with genuine humanity. Even her approach to challenges evolved. When problems arose at work, she approached them with patience, understanding, and creativity rather than stress or frustration. Her colleagues increasingly turned to her, not just for solutions, but for guidance, inspired by the way she balanced intellect with empathy. Her influence extended far beyond her immediate tasks, shaping the culture of the company itself. The media caught wind of her story, and soon interviews, articles, and social media posts amplified her journey nationwide. Clara's narrative inspired countless individuals, especially young professionals navigating their careers. She received letters from people expressing gratitude, sharing how her story encouraged them to prioritize kindness, integrity, and selflessness in their own lives. Clara marveled at the reach of a single action, realizing that the impact of compassion could extend far beyond one person. Her life was a testament to the idea that helping others without expectation could open doors not only for oneself, but for countless others. Months later, the outreach program Clara led had expanded to multiple cities, impacting thousands. She developed new initiatives to train leaders to recognize and reward character in their teams. Mentorship became a cornerstone of her program, ensuring that future generations of employees would understand the value of integrity alongside skill. Each success reinforced the lesson that Michael had instilled in her. Life often rewards those who act with genuine kindness and courage. Clara's own career path became a beacon for others, demonstrating that opportunities often arrive unexpectedly when least expected. As she reflected on her journey, Clara understood that her life had transformed in ways she could never have planned. The missed interview, once a source of stress and disappointment, had become a pivotal turning point. The elderly man she helped was, in fact, the CEO who would change her career trajectory. The lesson was clear: small acts of goodness, performed without expectation, can set off a chain of events with profound consequences. Clara often shared this insight with her colleagues, mentees, and friends, hoping to instill the same appreciation for empathy and humanity in others. Finally, one evening, After a long day of meetings and planning sessions, Clara sat at her desk reflecting on the journey that had brought her here. Sunlight poured through the large office windows, illuminating her notes, sketches, and plans for new programs. She felt a quiet sense of accomplishment and gratitude. Life had shown her that integrity and kindness are not merely virtues, but catalysts for real-world change. From a single moment of compassion on a busy New York street to standing as a recognized leader in a top company, Clara's path proved that genuine selflessness can create extraordinary opportunities. Through it all, Clara remained grounded. Despite recognition, awards, and the spotlight, she never forgot the man she had helped or the values that guided her choices. She continued to mentor others, pay forward opportunities, and advocate for empathy in professional environments. Her story became a symbol of how character, when paired with determination and talent, could alter life's course in unimaginable ways. Clara's transformation was not just a personal triumph, but a lesson for the broader world, that integrity, courage, and kindness often matter more than timing or luck. By the end of the year, Clara had firmly established herself as a respected leader, a mentor, and a source of inspiration. Michael remained a guiding presence, offering advice and collaboration while allowing her to shine. Their partnership symbolized the impact of recognizing potential and valuing character above conventional markers of achievement. Clara's story spread further, inspiring corporate cultures nationwide to reconsider how they evaluate and reward talent. From a single act of helping a stranger to creating nationwide change, her journey stood as a testament to the profound power of kindness and the unpredictable ways it can reshape life.